Hi everybody, I'm Abby from Abbi Kirsten Collections, and I'm really excited today because I'm going to be sharing with you how to make these beautiful 3D paper cactuses. I have a couple of different styles I'm going to show you here. I have actually 3 different styles I'm going to be showing you here. They're all a little bit different, but they're really fun, and if you love cactuses and that whole vibe, you're really going to like this tutorial. The best part about this tutorial is they're very easy to make, and they'll never die on you. I do a lot with paper flowers, but I have no green thumb in real life, so I love making paper flowers and paper floral crafts that will last me pretty much forever. So these templates are designed to work with a cutting machine, but I have created some less intricate designs as well that you can cut out with scissors. So if you don't have a cutting machine, you can still do this project and cut with scissors by hand. In order to access the templates, you'll want to visit the link below in the video description if you're watching this directly on YouTube. If you're in the blog post for this, then you just scroll up to the supply section area and you'll be given a link as well to direct yourself to those templates. Okay, so there's not a lot we have to do for this. It's a very simple craft. Like I said, there's only a few supplies. So let's go ahead and go over our supply list first, and then I'm going to show you how to make these really beautiful 3D paper cactuses for your home or an event or anything you could possibly imagine. Okay, so the supplies are pretty straightforward for this project. You'll need a hot glue gun. I use a high temp glue gun. You'll also need 65-pound cardstock in various shades of green. I also use a pink for the flowers we'll be making. You may wish to have a pot or terracotta pot of some kind to put your plant in. I do recommend using a cutting machine, but like I said, I have some less intricate designs included in the templates. So if you wish to cut by hand, then you'll need a pair of scissors to do that as well. You'll also need a thin wood dowel to curl the petals with. If you don't have a thin wood dowel, you can definitely use a spare glue stick or a pen or a pencil. And then lastly, I have distress ink here, and this is totally optional. I'm going to show you with the prickly pear design how to add some extra depth to your cactus by adding some distress ink to the centers. You can use distress ink or pan pastel, and I will link to these in the blog post that goes with this video tutorial. But again, this is totally optional. So that's what you need for this cactus project, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I have all of my templates cut out here. I have a prickly pear style cactus, I have a Fero cactus, and I have an Aloe Vera cactus. So we're going to start with, I think, the easiest one, which is going to be the Aloe Vera cactus. So I'm going to start with this first. And you're going to need to cut out a certain number of petals, or petal layers, I guess you could say. I like to use 2 of each size. There are 4 sizes for the aloe vera, and I cut out 2 in each size, okay? So we have, like, you could say large, medium, small, and extra small. I cut out 2 in each size. So I'm gonna start with the largest pieces, and this is like super simple, like really you just can't overcomplicate it. I bend it up with my fingers. That's how easy it is. We just want to give them a little bit of dimension so that they look full and lifelike. And I like to gather them in my hand like this. Sort of pinch the bottom just a little bit. And then add some glue. And place it right into the center. And then just kind of look at it and see, you know, how it looks from the top. Try to vary the angle of the points of your aloe vera petal there. And then we're just going to keep repeating that, progressing down in size. So I'm using the next size here, and I'm sort of gathering and bending them up. You can kind of pinch the bottom just a little bit there to try and, you know, keep those petals standing nice and tall, because we don't want our plant to look flat. And just open them out a little bit. Okay, good with that. And I'm going to continue. This one's almost self-explanatory, but and you can make these in a lot of different sizes. So I'm doing like kind of just a small potted little mini pot plant for this here, but you can do this in much bigger sizes if you're scaling on a cutting machine. So definitely you could do something really fun with those. you work towards the center, it's going to get a little bit more tight to put these subsequent layers in. So if you have to, work on sort of folding the design out a little bit more, but it's better to start with things too closed than so open that your plant looks unfinished in the center. There we go. For the last two, I like to kind of glue them together first and then insert them. So for the one that's going to be the most innermost centerpiece, sort of just pinch the bottom closed to keep everything together. And on that, close this over it. I got those two last layers together there, and then I'm just going to place it in the center. There we go. And like I said, you could add more layers. You could do larger sizes in the bottom if you're scaling on a cutting machine. But there is our aloe vera. And all I do for mine is I like to just rest them on a little terracotta pot, just like this. Now if you want them to be more adhered to this, then just get some floral foam and just cut a piece, and then you can just glue it right on top of the floral foam and you'll be good to go. Because these are very stationary and I don't move them. Once they're in place, I just set mine on top, and then that way I can change things out very easily if I want to. So there's our aloe vera. And now we're going to move on to our Pharah Cactus. And this one is, it's fairly easy. You just have to practice a little bit with the angles. So all I'm doing here, after this has been cut out, you'll notice all these little cactus points on the side. You want to bend those at 90-degree angles towards you. So they're going to be sticking out from the cactus. And it just takes a moment, just bend them, at a 90-degree angle. Alright, so once you have all of those bent, what we're going to do is we're going to be folding these up like so. And you're going to need to use the little circle that's included in the templates. You can cut this out on your machine or by hand. And we're going to be using this to glue these points to. Now if you feel you need sort of like a reference point in the center, then just fold the circle a couple times, crease it, and then open it back out, and then that reference point you can just add each of these points directly to, so you know you're hitting the same center spot, just to make it a little easier on yourself. So the first thing I do is I add a little bit of glue to one of them, and then I press it to the circle. Just like that, give it a second to set up. And then we're gonna work in the direction of the smooth side. So don't work in the direction of these. I find it can be just a little bit more challenging, of the little pricklies right here. Work the opposite direction, because it's gonna be easier to give it a very slight overlap, like super slight, because you don't wanna have all these awkward spaces or anything like that. So add a little bit of glue to the tip again. And bring this point right to the center of the circle, and then keep going. Down to our last two now. Bring that up, so. Finger underneath there a little bit. And you might need to refluff the little prickly cactus spikes there a little bit, just to, because if you're kind of working on gluing, they can get kind of moved all over the place on you. So just reshape those if you need to. Now I like to reverse this. So you would think maybe this would be the top, but I like to turn it this direction and then this becomes the top. So I'm gonna grab a little terracotta pot again. And again, you can just sit it, or you can cut some floral foam and you can adhere it to the floral foam with some glue. And then to make this one look a little bit more finished and exciting, we're gonna add a flower to it. So I'm gonna set that aside just like that, and we're gonna make a flower. These are also included in the cactus templates. I cut 6 of these. You can cut more if you want to. And we're basically gonna do what we did with the aloe vera by just bending the petals up and layering them together. Just like that. Pay attention that your petal points are kind of alternating there so the flower looks symmetrical. I'm gonna repeat this again until we've done all 6 the same way. There we go. All right, for the last 2, I like to do what I did with the aloe vera. I like to fold the petal points up. I like to sort of pinch the bottom to keep them tight. Add some glue. And then close that one on for the top of it. And add that into the center of your flower. Just like that. Sort of fluff it up just a little bit if you want to. And then I'm going to glue it to the top of this cactus. Just like that. Super easy. All right, so there is our Fharah Cactus. Super cute, very easy. Even like, this could even be like a kid-friendly craft, honestly. It's easy enough that like a 7 or 8-year-old could do it. So that is our next cactus, and we're gonna move on to our very last one, which is our prickly pear. And I cut out 12 of the larger prickly pear templates and 12 of the smaller. So just 12 of each of those. If you want to do more, you can. If you want to do a couple less, I've also done it that way. 12 is what I'm going to be showing you here in this video. One thing I want to note here is if you would like to distress your cactus to create some different colors fading in the center, this is a great template to do that with. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Now, for this part, you're going to want to use either a distressing or a pan pastel. I've used both. This one here, take it out of its pot for just a second. This one here, I used a pan pastel, and I used a green, like a lighter green that contrasts center. So I'm gonna link both Distress Ink and Pan Pastel in the blog post for this, and they both work well. Make sure you put something down to protect your surface that you're working on, because they can get messy. So I'm going to use the sort of like a blue. It's like a deep green blue, and I'm going to just sort of distress right down the center. And it's going to look kind of funny. What you're doing is going to look kind of funny at first until the cactus comes together. All right, so I just did that for that one, and then I'm going to fold it in half. Pay attention to the bottom more than the top. It'll help you align a lot easier. So fold that in half. It's going to look like that. It's going to be more closed, so you can see how you can see the shadow depth of the color we got it there. It can look really cool. So I'm going to do that with the rest of mine really quick, and then I'll show you how to assemble it. Okay, so I've done that with all of my prickly pear petals now. Got that nice distressed in the center there, and now we're going to start gluing them together. So you'll notice with these templates that one side has cactus points and one side is smooth. You're always going to be adding a cactus point side to a smooth side. So we're going to add some glue here on the smooth side. I'm just using my hot temp glue gun for this. And then you want to stack your two together just like so. Give it a good press. So now that smooth side for this one is matched up with the prickly side. So each one only has, the exact same number of prickles. It's not overlapping. So we're just going to repeat this now until we've added them all together. With a good press. I like to work in sets of like 3 or 4, and then kind of put those sets of 3 and 4 together, just so that, because as it grows, it's a little harder to hold it and to keep everything in alignment. So I like to work in smaller sets and then bring them all together at the end. So this is my 4th one for this. Okay, so I have 4 pieces together there. I'm going to make another set of 4 here, and then we'll start putting them together. I just like working in this way, but you can do it your own way if you want. All right, there we go. So I have 3 sets of 4 glued together. Now we're just going to start doing the same thing, attaching them all. I have my smooth side and the prickly side here. So I'm going to glue those 2 together first. Do the same thing with this one. Okay, so I have all 12 pieces stacked here, and now we're gonna close the circle of petals together. And again, if you don't feel this is the right number for you and you want to make it more intricate, you could absolutely add more layers. If you wanted it to be like, you know, maybe you put 24 together. This is 12, maybe you put 24 together and you make it even more intricate. You could definitely do that as well. And like I said with my other ones, I usually just rest them in my terracotta pot, or I glue them to some floral foam and mold it to the pot. With this one in particular, you could always glue a thin wood dowel or a wire stem before you close this if you wanted to have something to sort of stick it in. So that is an option for this design. And I'm gonna close that, just like that. So you can see that all these cactuses are very easy. I should say cacti, is that how you say plural for cactus? I think it is. All of these cacti are very easy and simple to make, definitely beginner friendly, even kid friendly, kind of therapeutic actually. All right, so there we go. So there is the bottom of my prickly pear. And you could stop right here. So as you can see, I've made some that are just very small, and I just do one cactus like that. But I'm going to add a top to this. We're doing the exact same thing. We're just stacking and gluing the non-prickly side to the smooth side until we're gonna close the shape just like that one. So I'm gonna go through that real quick, and then I'll show you how I attach it to the top. All right, so now to attach this one to the top, all I do is before I close this together, you're gonna just find a spot on the top of your cactus, and you're gonna end up putting some glue right at the base, and you're gonna close this with one of the lower cactus pieces in between it. So just like this, you're just gonna sort of create it at an angle, and then you're gonna glue just like that, so that it's attached to the top. And then I'll show you how we're gonna finish it right there so it doesn't look weird and messy. And then to make this look more finished and not so like weird right here, we're gonna put a flower. So then I'm going to grab the other flower template that comes with this. And this is actually a rose design of mine that I'm repurposing to create sort of a slightly different looking style on the top of this cactus here. All you're gonna need for this is a thin wood dowel to curl this. You could even use a glue stick if you don't have a thin wood dowel, excuse me. So I'm actually gonna use a glue stick because I have one nearby. There's so many different ways you can repurpose things. And oh, I'm sorry, let me back up here. I actually only need 4 of these. So I cut 6 out on my cutting machine, but you only need 4. You can do more than 4 if you want. You can even do 2 or 3. 4 is just what I like to do. So I'm just curling each of these petal points around my glue stick, or you can use a thin wood dowel. You could even use a pen or pencil. Use some practical things that are handy. And then we're gonna layer these together much like we did with the first flower. So I'm gonna sort of flatten that one just a touch, and I'm gonna add a little glue to the center. And I'm going to place another one on top, alternating the petal points like so. And then we're going to repeat the process. Just like that. And let's add our last and 4th one in. There we go. There you go. And then I just add a little small centerpiece to it. This is the same template that I used for our Pharah Cactus. It's just smaller. So I include 2 sizes in the templates. You can scale them to any size that you want on your cutting machine. It just creates a little finished center for your flower. There we go, just a nice little finished center. All right, so again, I have a terracotta pot, and again, you can put floral foam in the bottom if you wish. I don't tend to do that. I tend to let mine just sit right in there. You can even use some tissue paper to sort of raise it up a little bit. That's what I did with this one. I used some tissue paper right in the bottom, so I'm actually going to use that one just so you can see. And it just helps hold a little more snug. Sort of supports it, just like so. Again, you can use floral foam and glue it so that it is completely 100% stable. But since these are so stationary, I usually don't get very concerned about it. And then we're going to glue our flower right there. So I kind of play with these just a little bit, these little folds here, just to make sure everything is where I want it before I place the flower. Add some glue to the bottom, and then press it right onto the design. Now, it may not adhere like perfectly, but there's enough glue and enough paper contact that if you hold it till dry, it will not go anywhere. So just give it a good like 15-20 seconds before you let go of it, and it'll stay in place for you. And in that way, it finishes off that area to where it doesn't look, you know, kind of lopsided and weird. It looks more natural. So there's our prickly pear cactus. It turned out really well, I think. And that's how I make all of my cactuses. So we have, or cacti, excuse me, make all of my cacti. So I have the aloe vera, and we have the Fero Cactus, and then we have our prickly pear cactus, and they're super simple, super easy. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to download those templates. And I also want to note that if you love like cactus and this kind of vibe, you'll probably love my succulent tutorials. I have a giant succulent and a small succulent. I'm going to show you the small succulent. I made these small succulents a long time ago, but I recently redid a video on them not too long ago, so you might have seen them. So if you're loving you know, these blues, greens tones, these natural tones, you'll probably really enjoy the succulent tutorial as well. I teach 3 styles of that one, and they're a great addition to the cactus tutorial as well. So I hope you enjoyed these, and I will see you guys next time. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any videos, and also hop over to my blog, AbbiKirstenCollections.com, so that you can also subscribe to my email newsletter and get freebies and a whole bunch of other great tutorials and things that I know you will love. I'll see y'all there. Bye.